Hey everybody, it's Matt Allen with Compass Realty coming back at you. Listen, I'm out with buyers all day long, especially in the spring market, and we're looking at things like neighborhoods and all these different aspects of a house. But one thing to consider when you're really into a house is to dive into a lot of the details. And for that, I work with a phenomenal home inspector, Isaac, and I've learned so much from trailing him. I thought it'd be a great idea for him to come on and just tell you all the little things that you need to look for if you have an agent and you're looking at a house, or if you're going to be with me looking at houses. These are the things we're going to look for. So let's bring in Isaac and see what he has to tell us. There he is. Hey, Isaac, how are you?
Hey, doing great, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Great. So we've been working together for 7 or 8 years now, and gone through over 100 houses, and you're just a wealth of information. So I thought, who better to talk us through a lot of these details than you? So what can you tell us, when we're out looking at houses, really getting into the details of a house? What are the things that you recommend that buyers really hone in on above and beyond all the, interior staging and fluff that agents like me put out?
Yeah. Well, when I think of buying a house, I think of the big money stuff. And that's kind of where I start. The roof, the structure, and the HVAC are all going to cost you way more than almost everything combined that you can find inside of the house. So that is really where I would put a lot of my focus if I was really starting to get interested into a house.
Well, that's great. How do you tell the ages of some of these things?
Yeah, so some of it you're going to have to just look at really closely. Some different types of, like for instance, let's say a roof. There are different types of shingles out there. So even just taking a picture, you can start to research how old this roof may last. Some of the shingles will last 15 to 20 years, some last 30 years. But some of the 15 to 20-year shingles, you'll see shingles missing. You'll see very obvious signs of curling, the things that you can tell already that they are aging. So something you may just want to budget for. That's probably, again, and Matt, you've obviously seen a lot of these, so you can certainly lean on Matt's expertise. And Matt also knows he can shoot me pictures as well if you come across a roof that you're concerned about.
One thing about roofs is you usually don't have a catastrophic failure. So you may have a small leak, something that can be addressed and can extend the life of a roof by, a few years or so. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I see shingles missing, that doesn't necessarily mean you need a new roof immediately. It probably means you need to start budgeting for one. But one thing that a lot of people can do to get a lot of years is have a roofer reseal their roof. So often I see roof leaks that are due to the nails that get pounded into the penetration points, into the flashing, that basically wears away. That wears away about 10 years. And really a roof, like I said, 15 to 20 is about the minimum you get out of a roof. So a lot of times you'll be told you need a new roof when in reality you can get another 5, 10 years out of the roof if you just have it resealed.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And so moving inside the house, what are the other expensive items to, keep an eye on and watch for?
Yeah, so I mean, inside you have your HVAC systems. Obviously, part of it is often outside as well. So that is the other big money one. I mean, getting a new heat pump, a new furnace these days costs around $8,000 in our area. Obviously, don't quote me on that. I don't install them, but that's kind of the ballpark that I tell most buyers. And you can find data tags on the actual units that tell you the age. A lot of times the agents selling the house may even be able to give you insight into that. But again, a heat pump 13 to 15 years is pretty normal. So if you see the data tag and you're able to look up the actual age on it, you can tell, okay, is this an expense that I need to start budgeting for now, or do I have a decade before I have to start worrying about this? The other big one that we kind of touched on at the very beginning is the structure. Obviously, there's an interior and exterior portion of the structure. You can't always see the full structure. So getting in any utility room that has exposed walls, the concrete block you can see, or poured concrete, just looking for any type of settlement cracks. A settlement crack, again, doesn't necessarily mean the structure needs to be replaced or dealt with. It just means, most often it actually means that water is sitting near the house. you'll see a downspout not extended away from the house and dumping all that water from the gutter right in the corner. It starts to compact that soil and then settle the structure. And quite frankly, that's why we usually have to call out structural issues, is because somebody hasn't dealt with the water around their house in a productive manner.
Right. It's a shame. Extending downspouts is probably the cheapest way to ensure that your foundation will stay structurally sound for many years to come. Well, great. Is there anything else you can think of for people that would be looking at a house right now?
Yeah, so other big money things that I can think of are, I mean, again, second tier would be up-to-date electric panels, kitchen appliances, just trying to find ages of those. And when I, again, think of a house, I think of budgeting for the eventual. I mean, plumbing is going to leak. You're going to find leaks everywhere. You're going to find some small electrical issues in most houses that are older houses, because the systems have been changed multiple times. Those come up, but they shouldn't be deal breakers unless you have a panel that just absolutely needs to be replaced. Even a deal breaker, I mean, it's everything can be fixed. I don't really like to think in terms of killing a deal. It's really let's understand what we're buying, what type of money we'll have to lay out in the future, and be eyes wide open when you're going into a house. And the last thing I can think of is a chimney. So if you do have a house with a fireplace, me as a home inspector, I am not going to be as thorough as a chimney sweep. So if you want to use it as a wood burning fireplace, I always recommend having a chimney sweep inspect those, because those can cost $3,500 to $5,000 to reline if the chimney sweep decides that the lining or the flue is messed up and out of whack and you need to reline it.
Yeah, that's great advice. And the one thing you touched on, which is what makes you so good, is, a lot of these things, anything is fixable, but if you put it in the right context of just how much it is, what the lifespan is, how many years you might have left on it, and or what's the price to replace something, which can be, kind of negotiated in a transaction as well. So it's all just great information to have going into eyes wide open, going into making an offer for a house. So anyway, thanks, Isaac, for being with us today. Very insightful. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to me directly, and I can ping Isaac if you have any specific questions. If not, thanks again, and look forward to seeing you soon.
It's my pleasure, Matt. Thanks for having me.